Good morning, everybody. I'm going to fix my camera just a little bit. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm in the office today because it's not Monday, it's Tuesday. Usually I'm here on Mondays talking to you, but it's Tuesday and it's the start of February. We've got classes going on out there, so I'm in the office trying to wrap up before fundamentals starts. I have some fun stuff to show you, and we're going to talk about all the things that are happening in February. So today is Tuesday, February 1st. Welcome to the art studio, or at least to the office. My name is Allison Jensen, and I'm the owner of Orange Easel School of Art. I'm here in downtown Liberty. We have a second location out in Platte Woods, and we're a children's art studio in the Kansas City Northland. And today we're going to talk about what's going on in classes. This video is for all of my parents out there who have kids in Orange Easel classes, and you drop them off every week and you just want to know what they're doing. So here we go. I don't have Post-its. I actually typed it. I'm going to talk first about sewing because I brought sewing examples to show you. Now, my sewing classes have been rocking out those penguins, and I wanted to show you kind of what all of that entails. So for those of you who are wondering, they will finish their penguin project this week. Sewing is just a little bit behind because they missed a class due to COVID last month. So they'll wrap their January projects this week and then start on February's project, which I also brought to show you. So these are adorable little penguins. How cute are they? So this is the front, and then obviously they still need to get the back put on. And the feet. Okay, so the steps that we had to do in this class, they cut all their pieces. They stitched them together. You can see we've got where we stitched right sides together and turned. We had to put we had to stuff our beak, sew our beak, stuff our beak, put it together. They had to do, this is an applique stitch. So it's a zigzag stitch that goes all the way around the body and stitches it to the back. We've sewn together our little flippers. We've stuffed them. They've basted them on, which is just like a quick long stitch. It makes it easier for it to all stay together instead of using pins. So they basted those on. Today, next week they will, or tomorrow, I guess it's today. Class is today. They'll baste the feet on as well. And then they'll take the back of their penguin and they'll put it and hide everything and tuck it all in together. Do a running stitch all the way around, leave the top open, flip it, stuff it, and sew the top closed. And then we'll have these cute, adorable little penguin stuffies that will be ready to go home. So that is what I wanted to show you. I've been talking about these penguins for 4 weeks now, and I haven't brought anything to show you. So now you've seen it. They'll finish those up probably pretty quickly tonight in their first half a class, maybe even faster. Some people are super fast on those machines, and they'll begin on their Valentine's Day heartstrings pillow. So this is an example of instructor's example that we made a couple years ago. Their hearts will be made out of felt, not out of this cotton fabric, but they'll cut their hearts and then they'll stitch them onto the top of their fabric and then sew together a cute little denim pillow. So that is February's project that we will start this week. Now let's talk about drawing, and then we're going to get into all the printmaking fun, okay? So our drawing classes, they are doing portraiture. So every single one of them is going to be focusing on portraiture this month. So Drawing 101 will just have an introduction to portrait. We're going to use a self-portrait because that's one of we carry our own subject with us at all times. We look in a mirror and we draw ourselves. So they'll have mirrors out. They'll get to use all the media that they used last month. So they'll use pencil if they want. They can use ink if they want. They can use color if they want as well. So any of the media that they used last month, they'll have an option of using this week, whatever their favorite one was, to render their self-portrait. Now that gives us a really good baseline for the month, because then what our goal is to see improvement. Our goal by the end of the month, when we work on 4 weeks of portraiture, our goal is to get them, one step up. Some of them are going to come in and their step up is going to be getting more details. Hey, look, I can actually see the bottom of my eyelid and the top of my eyelid. Like there's 2 lines there, not just one, right? I have to add eyelashes. I have to add eyebrows. I have to understand, the parts of the nose. So just getting details in might be all that they're ready to do. So we'll take what they have, and then we'll try to get them to see more things and add more. Some of them are ready to start getting the contour and the shape of the face. And so that's a 101 class might be ready to start putting in some contours, which moves into more of Drawing 102. So wherever they're at, we're going to meet them there and we're going to try to build on that. So hopefully by the end of the month, whatever portrait they do, it looks different than the portrait they did at the beginning of the month. Okay. So self-portraits for Drawing 101, self-portraits for Drawing 102, Advanced Realistic. But of course, we expect that those artists are already rendering values. That they've already got the contour, they've already got the details, they've already got the line work done. What we're going to work with them is the angles and the shape of the face. So where the planes, shift and change, and how do we represent that on the value scale? So they'll be using either graphite or charcoal. Most of them will choose graphite. Now, our comic and anime also do portrait, but in a little bit of different way. They're going to be breaking down the face and doing parts of it instead of putting it all together right from the get-go. So today will be their lesson in eyes, where they learn all the different styles and ways that they can draw eyes in comic style, anime style, manga style, cartooning style. And they'll play with those. And by the time they finish, they'll have pages full of different eyes that they can use on their characters. Now, my printmaking month, these are my multimedia students. So we finished acrylic month. Multimedia switches media every single month. So we switched month, we switch media. We go from acrylic into printing. And we've got 3 different printing projects for our kids. And this week is all about just getting familiar with what printmaking is and the style printmaking that they're going to be using. So my K1s are going to be doing a combination. They actually will do both a relief print and a mono print. So they're going to learn this week about mono prints. And I brought an example of a jelly plate for you. This is, let me get it open. This is a jelly plate, and it is well loved and well used. It's wiggly like Jell-O. It's super slick and super smooth on it. You can see ours is stained. You used to be able to see through it. You can't anymore because it has been used a ton. But it's super smooth and slick. It's not slimy, but if you get it wet, it feels really, really slippery. And like I said, it's wiggly like Jell-O. So we lay these down, and it gives us a super slick and smooth surface to do mono prints on. And they'll use brayers. This is a brayer. They'll use a brayer to roll their ink onto their jelly plate, and some texture tools and different things to pull different mono prints. Now, if you're interested in what mono printing looks like and how to use jelly plates, we have a couple different videos. You can just search our YouTube channel and read more about that because we don't have time. But I will show you some of their mono prints that they make next week, and you can see some of them will take some of their practice ones, so you can see what all of that entails. Their background for their final project will be a mono print, and then they'll do a relief print on top with a super cool embossing technique, which I will show in later videos. Our 2nd and 3rd graders are going to be exploring something called collagraphs. Now, collagraph is a type of relief printing, and basically it is a stiff board of some kind where you build up layers. So rather than carving away layers, which is what my middle schoolers and my 4th and 5th graders are going to be doing to build their relief plate, the 2nd and 3rd graders are going to be building their relief plate by adding layers. And so they'll actually use, this is manila folder. And this is one that I built. And you can see I've already printed it because it's got ink still on it. But you can see I cut out and collaged all these different layers, right? So it's stacked up. The bottom layer is the sky. The next layer is the mountains and the trees, and then the hills in front. So it actually comes at you towards, background, midground, foreground, just like in real life, right? So I have built this, and then you can actually print this. So this is Speedball black printing ink, and you roll it with the printing ink, put your paper on top, use your printing baron to get some good pressure on it. And I have pulled 4 prints off of my printing plate. Let's see, here's one. This is the first one you can see because it's got a lot more ink on it. My favorite one was actually my 3rd one that I printed. There's my 4th one. This was my 3rd. This was my 4th. Look at this. So this one is almost a ghost print because I didn't add any more ink as I kept printing. But each one of these is considered an original piece of artwork, which I think is one of the cool things about printmaking. So we're going to be doing some printmaking and some collagraph playing. They won't do their final today. They won't even start on it. It'll just be understanding why it works. And so they'll actually build some little mini collagraph printing plates and start doing a little bit of printing to see how it works. So that way they can plan their composition for later. Okay. Now, my middle schoolers and high schoolers, they're going to be doing, and I've already lost it. Hang on. Oh, I've lost the cutting tool. Oh, well. They're going to be using some sharp tools. I don't know where it went. Nuts. And carving this soft cut, which is We've used lino in the past, but this is a little bit easier to cut. Looks like this when you actually carve it away. So we use these cutters by Speedball. They look like they look like cuticle trimmers is what they look like. But you run it through there and it pulls out all these little pieces like little strings of cheese. And you carve away the areas that you don't want to print. And you leave the areas up at the surface level that you do want to print. So you carve away the negative space. So the project for our 4th and 5th grade and our middle school, high schoolers for printmaking, they will get one block of 4x5 soft cut, and we're going to do it in a quadrant. So they'll choose something pop art-ish. We're going to look at the art of Andy Warhol and Lichtenstein and understand what pop art is. And then they will choose an object, design their own printmaking stamp, right, of that object, thinking about positive and negative space and balance because it's a single color print. And then they'll carve that design away and they'll actually print it 4 times. They'll print it 1, 2, 3, 4 in a quadrant on a single sheet of paper. And that'll be matted and finished. So we've got a couple different like ink colors that they can use. So each quadrant can be a different color if they wanted. But so that'll be their project. This week, they're going to start just understanding pop art and designing their stamp. So they'll work on getting their design and they might start carving this week, but they might not. So we'll see how fast they do with just coming up with their idea. Sometimes we got to do a lot of sketching before we come up with our idea. And I did bring it, but I've lost it. So it must have fallen off my desk. But the carving tool is sharp. And so the most common way people nick themselves is that they're carving into their hands and into their fingers. You're holding your block and you're carving it into it. So we'll work really hard with them to carve away. But they may come home with a Band-Aid on their fingers. So just a heads up on that. No major injuries. No, like we're not going to lose a finger. But there might be nicks and cuts if they're going into their fingers and the knife and the cutting tool slips. So if that's something that they can't handle or something that because we're going to talk to them and say sharp tools are a privilege. If they can't handle it, we have an alternative that uses a printmaking foam. And you depress it with a pencil instead of with the carving tool. So we do have options for those kids that are not quite ready for the sharp tools, but we'll handle that on a case-by-case basis. In the past, we haven't had any issues. So I'm not really expecting any this time either. My fundamentals classes, so my preschool classes, they are starting a brand new month as well. We finished our light and dark and landscape and Van Gogh month. And now we're moving into our printmaking and our portrait and figure, and is printmaking, portrait, figure, and Warhol are the 4 things that we're kind of looking at. So they're going to start this month with a Valentine's Day printing invitation. So we've got jelly plates out for them this morning, and they will use their brayers and roll out their paint. We're using washable tempera with them onto their jelly plate, and then they will actually mask with hearts and then be able to pull a print off of that. So we're going to make some Valentines with jelly printing. Today, they're going to read Uncle Andy's Cats, which is a kind of Warhol-inspired book. We're going to take pictures today, too. So if you're in fundamentals classes, don't let us forget to take your picture. We got to get pictures of all of our kids for a project later this month when we read Ain't Gonna Paint No More, which is a super fun one. So we'll get those printed on transparencies for later down the road. Then we've got a bunch of really great ways for preschoolers to explore portraiture and figure this month in the station play. So one of my favorites is Miss Nancy's made some Play-Doh, and inside our Play-Doh we've got Mr. Potato Head pieces. So the potato head, like the actual potato head, is gone, and then there's Play-Doh, so they can work on getting all of the facial features stuck in. And I mean, they can be silly with it, or they can practice proper placement, right? We also have a really great invitation up on the easel wall, which is just heads of people that we've drawn and we've left the faces off. And Miss Nancy's mixed some really great different skin tones in the paint colors because we only buy primary paints. But so she's mixed some really great colors for us for that wall so they can work on painting portraiture. We also have the face paint sticks back out, which is a great way to explore our own faces. So good stuff coming. If you want to see those invitations, check out Instagram stories kind of as the week goes on, because we'll make sure to show those. So that's everything, you guys. That is all of our drawing, sewing, multimedia, and fundamentals classes and what they have going on for the first week of February in 2022. We've also got in housekeeping, just a couple notes. Today, our spring break registration opened. So go check that out on the website if you want to join us for spring break. If you're a Studio Club member, there is a discount code, so make sure that you use that so you get 25% off on your camps. And then that's the biggest news coming up here. March 1st, Studio Club members will get to register for summer, and March 15th, everyone will get to register for summer. So all of that is there. And if you didn't get on our summer sneak peek email list and you didn't pay attention on social media and you didn't get a coupon code for summer, make sure you reach out to me and I will make sure to send one to you because we do have an early bird coupon code that we've been sending out. So if you haven't seen it and you want it, let me know. All right. I think that's it. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, because it's not Monday, but it is the start of our week. So have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I'll see some of you guys in the studio this week, and I will chat with you, everybody, next week. So bye, guys.